We're talking Carly Rae Jepsen, another huge pop drop this past weekend. And boy, uh, we haven't talked about Carly Rae in a couple of years. And last time we did, I think we really enjoyed what we got for the most part. I think one of the when you think about that era of like late 2000s female young pop stars, in my mind, there's three that I kind of lump together. It's like Charlie XCX, Carly Rae Jepsen, and Rebecca Black for some reason. I think because they all kind of felt like they came up with these songs that like people didn't actually expect them to like
Huh.
sustain success. Rebecca Black obviously did not, although she's having a great TikTok revival.
Yeah.
But Carly Rae and Charlie XCX both have over the last decade into this new decade really come into form and found this groove for themselves where they are just fully formed artists. And I think that continues on the loneliest time because while I think there's some parts of this record that I found a bit redundant, maybe not her best work, there's some moments I felt were pretty inspired and I really enjoyed. How did you feel about this new record?
Yeah, I liked it quite a bit. Tough luck for Carly Rae dropping same day as Taylor. She had the date first, alas. When you're
She
as
didn't
big
back
as
down.
when you're as big as Taylor, you don't really pay attention to other people's dates, obviously. Nonetheless, though, I'd have to imagine the loneliest time will be pleasing to Carly Rae's loyal fan base. She's not the biggest pop star in the world, but she is quite successful and quite popular in her own regard. And like you said, it's kind of been a long time coming. And I think going into this, I don't know if I had like strong expectations because truthfully, I didn't really care for that first lead single back in May, Western Wind. Bit too folky for me. I'm like, that's just not like what I associate with Carly Rae, even if like the writing might be there, just like the sound's not what I'm thinking of. But like, if we're being honest, she's been on the 80s wave
Oh
longer
yeah.
than most in terms of pop music these days. So it's kind of cool to hear new music from her as other people are kind of jumping on the bandwagon as we discuss ad nauseum whenever new music comes out. And she's also kind of proven that she's a bit out of the ordinary in pop because the last two albums have featured these very distinct like side B companion albums with both Emotion and Dedicated getting a side B after the original release. And now I'm like, does Loneliest Time necessarily need a side B? I don't think so. I think this was
Mm-mm.
pretty good on its own and just had a lot of, I think, really enjoyable songs. I think Carly Rae has really found herself as a writer and a performer and just really kind of glides on a lot of this production that she's been riding for some time. It probably doesn't reinvent the wheel for Carly Rae Jepsen fans, but in terms of like not the most popular pop artist, that alt pop scene, like I think she's obviously continuing to prove herself, and this was a success.
Yeah, this was definitely a success. You mentioned that like 80s sound and how Western Wind, the first single of this, really is a departure. But I think for that reason, I actually really enjoyed Western Wind. I don't think when she tries different things on this, she necessarily uh, is very successful. A song to me like Beach House is a song that I just found to be like uh good try good effort but not totally my jam. But there's songs like talking to yourself, right?
Mm.
Or like you go a little bit further and you get like bad thing twice, and she can just like churn out these like bubblegum 80s pop hits like so easily, and it just kind of feels like she has that formula down. And so seeing when she branched out on this, my ears perked out up a little bit more. And so you mentioned Western Wind, which kind of takes like uh, my first thought when that song started was the Freedom 99 drums from uh George Michael. And then you kind of bring in like a more like toned back, almost like Toto feel at times. Like it's an interesting song, but I really do enjoy it. And then another track like that stood out was Go Find Yourself or whatever, like a pure emotional ballad, and I think she just like crushes that. I think her vocal performance on that is great. But then if you just want to like go and get your Harley Ray fix, there's plenty of just 80s pop songs on here. Like her and Puth could be turning this shit out like nothing, man. Like seriously, just give us an album of the year of this. It's great. What did you like about it?
Yeah, I think that's all right. I thought talking to yourself in particular, like the drums and that's awesome. That's just a banger from
Yeah.
Carly Rae. Great song. I like Joshua Tree a lot. Shout out the bass line there, nice guitar riffs, just really kind of fits the vibe she often goes for. And in the song before that, the first song, Surrender My Heart,
Yeah.
I really enjoy the chorus on that song and the way really the song builds up to that chorus really kind of pumps you up. I thought the Beach House chorus was actually pretty fun, but I have seen a lot of people have been deriding it, which I get. But yeah, I think just generally like when she's on like the more upbeat side of things, she's just really really solid all the time.
Yeah.
And once in a while, there's like true like masterpiece. Like I think of some of her past singles, like "Cut to the Feeling," for example. Like she's like obviously very talented and uh, really cool to see someone who obviously found massive success 10 years ago with the best-selling song of 2012, "Call Me Maybe," everybody knows, but then didn't find that immediate like mainstream success in the immediate wake of "Call Me Maybe," in the immediate wake of that like busting on the scene moment.
Hmm.
To see how far she's come and the kind of loyal cult like fan base that she has not only developed but sustained for several years at this point, just really cool. Hats off to her.
Yeah, completely. I love seeing her success. She's really fun. I think artist just to follow, and if you wrote her off after Call Me Maybe, you have a lot to dive into and really enjoy now. So really highly suggest it, and I suggest The Loneliest Time as a listen.